things have. So Mac, is there a disruption or? Okay, I think there was certain glitch. So maybe I did not had your name. The person has asked the question, but I think I have answered your question. And it's a topic which cannot be answered in a few minutes. It requires a whole lot more elaborate description. But at the very core, just understand blockchain natively does not require a bank to come in picture. It comes into picture when you start using it fiat currency in order to interact with it. The whole concept of blockchain that fiat won't be used and everything will be happening within the network. Since you are bringing something from outside the network, that's where banking comes into picture. Any other question? Okay, so it will be good if all the people can raise your hand who are from college and who are still studying.
Nine people so far.
Okay.
Now it increased to 12.
Yeah, Mac, I can see. Okay, so I think there are a good amount of people from various enterprises also, and people who are working. So that's all, guys. Or any confusion around how the process or the HackDLT is. In any case, you will be getting a detailed email, but if something from the session, if you want to be cleared, do let me know. Okay, thanks everyone. All the best. All the best for these 12 days. And hope you all do get a lot of learning, and we may have a very healthy competition in next 12 days. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, Ajay. Hi, Purushottam.
Hey, hi, Mac.
Hi. So Purushottam would be taking this session, and he will be, giving a tour about DL Unify ecosystem completely. Purushottam, over to you.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know people are across the globe who is attending this event. Before I start, give me a second. I will share my screen. I have a few slides to go through before I actually go to DL Unify tour. Mac, can you confirm that my screen is visible?
Screen is visible. The presentation is visible, but probably you should make it a full screen.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I hope it will be full screen now, right?
Yeah, it is.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Ajay, for the introduction. This session is about DL Unify, right? At this point of time, you may be asking how we build application, right? There are multiple elements to it, how to create a network, how to manage the network, what are the tool set that we are giving you, right? And Ajay also told that we are promising ecosystem of products and tools which will help developers, right? We are providing you sorry for this glitch. Here we are trying to provide the same product, same services that can help you create your blockchain development experience easy, right? Before going into each of these jargons, if I'm an amateur, right? So I'm logged in, I'm registered to DL Unify, I logged into the portal, what to do, right? As a blockchain developer, there are few things you have to do. First thing is create a network, right? Whether it's Ethereum network or Hyperledger Fabric network, you need a way to create a network. And any of the case, if you have to set up your own network, it's not easy task, right? And managing those network is very difficult. So what at DL Unify we provide, right? We provide a service called DL Orchestrator that will help you create a network in few clicks, right? So you just select, I want this network of certain configurations, and these are my configurations and other details. Just click and your network will be provisioned, right? So this is what one thing that we have done through DL Orchestrator to save the life of developers, right? You don't have to go into the details and nitty-gritties of how to spawn your own network, right? So this is where DL Orchestrator comes in. Second thing is managing that network, right? Now you have created the network. Is there a central way, or is there a way where you can manage each of your network, right? In a single portal. So this is where DL Gateway comes into the picture. Once as an organization or a startup, right, you have say 5 networks to that belongs to Ethereum and 5 network that belongs to Hyperledger Fabric, right? Can I manage all those network in a single portal? This is where DL Gateway comes in, right? You can create a project of different blockchain network. You can manage the life cycle of those networks, right? So this is where DL Gateway comes in. And I will actually go to actual portal and have a quick tour of each of these services, right? So, so these are the 2 things. Third things is Explorer, right? Those who are known to blockchain, so what they must be aware about, say for coming from Ethereum background, you must be aware about EtherScan, right? So it's a blockchain explorer. And if you are coming from a different network, they also provide their own explorer. So for every network that we support, we have our own explorer that you can use to visualize the activity that is happening on your own network, right? Whether it's Hyperledger Fabric or your Ethereum network, Ethereum mainnet or Ethereum testnet, right? I will come to those networks a little later. But we have Explorer for every network that DL Unify support at this point of time. So what I have done so far, I have created the network of my choice. I am able to visualize everything around the network, right, through project creation and management of those network through DL Gateway. And I have the blockchain explorer with me, right, to visualize every activity that happens to the set of blockchain network that I manage, right, as an enterprise or a startup. Fourth thing that Ajay talk about is how we are making life of a developer easy, right? So that the developer can focus on the business problem and invest more time there, right? So apart from our orchestrator and the gateway, one of the things that makes developers' life easy is this set of tool set, right? Some of the tool set that you will come across while developing for the event is Hyperledger Fabric VS Code extension, right? So assume that you have used or you have chosen Hyperledger Fabric as a network. We have our own VS Code extension that you can utilize in VS Code and can do certain trivial operation with the button clicks, right? So you will come across about Visual Studio Code extension in case Hyperledger Fabric is your choice of development. Then we have CLI. So those who have chosen, say, Ethereum, right? They may be aware about Truffle and other things. So at Unify, we have our own CLI to create Ethereum project at this point of time. It can create a project, it can initialize some certain configuration, it can compile your Solidity smart contract, it can deploy it, it can invoke certain smart contract through CLI itself and actually can give you the activity that is happening from particular account on the Ethereum network, right? So other tool that we have is MetaMask integration. Again, it's a Ethereum thing. Those who are aware, they can easily integrate any network, whether it's a mainnet or a testnet through MetaMask. So we have our own integration because community needs MetaMask. So we have our our network, especially the DL test network, is integrated to MetaMask. So we will have those dedicated sessions also, or we can provide user manuals how to integrate your MetaMask with our network in case if you are doing development in Ethereum. Another tool or say another service that we have is IPFS. As you know, IPFS is decentralized storage. It's very easy to use and we also support. And those who wants to use whether it's Fabric or Ethereum, those who wants to use a decentralized storage, IPFS is one way to approach to solve your storage problems. So these are the four pillars of it. From creating network, managing network, visualizing your network, to certain tool set that you can use for your development of your project. So I will take a pause before we actually go for a tour. I will wait for a minute in case if you have any questions, then I can take it, and otherwise I can move to the actual tour. Okay, so I think there is no questions. The next section, right, in this session is about the actual tour of DL Unify. So there are four things that I talked in last slide, right? We will go through the actual tour, how it actually look like, right? The first thing I told about DL orchestrator. Before actually going into DL orchestrator, right, you can actually see all other products and services that we spoke about actually comes on the dashboard page of DL Unify. And any service or any product that we launch in future will actually comes here, right? Or any services that you subscribe to will come here. So starting with DL orchestrator, let me click this. You will land on our orchestrator project. So here we have few networks that we support as of now. One is Element, another is Ethereum, and Hyperledger Fabric, right? So at this point of time for the event, we will only talk about two network. One is the Ethereum network, another is Hyperledger Fabric network, right? So so actual details, right? We have a separate session on DL orchestrator that will help you create the network. So each and every step will be given by one of our panelists, right? They will give the walkthrough. But at high level, you can actually see, right? Once you request for a Hyperledger Fabric network, you have multiple options. You can choose what kind of host you need, what kind of tenancy, whether you go for a dedicated tenancy or a shared tenancy. Then the Docker Swarm and the kind of a cloud you want to use, right? Currently we support AWS, Microsoft Azure. Mostly for hackathon event, you should be using AWS. Then you can fill certain things, right? Like hack.com is your domain name, correct? The organization name. So certain Hyperledger Fabric specific configuration you can do. It's very configurable at this point of time, right? So you can choose actually what is your order type, etc draft or Kafka. We support both. Then you can choose Hyperledger Fabric version. I think 2.2.0 is the latest one. Then you can choose how many orders you need, the logging level and all those things, right? So once you do that, you can configure your database password. For CouchDB, you can configure your CA password, right? Username and password here. And once you do that, and once you submit the request, your request will go for approval, right? Once it is approved, your network will be up and ready, and your details will be shared over mail, right? So this is how much easy it is, right? So you just do certain, you just provide certain details around your network, and DL orchestrator will take care of every aspect of it, right? Managing scalability, reliability, performance, security, and everything, right? So you don't have to invest much time around how to provision your network, how to manage your network. This is what DL orchestrator take cares for you. This is one part. This is about Fabric. Similarly, Ethereum, you can create a network, but for event, we already have our own private network. We will share the detail of that private network, so you can start your development. So at this point of time, Ethereum supports 4 network basically. Mainnet is one, right? Then Ring-B is other, Robson is other, and Ethereum has, as I told, our own private network. We currently host 17 to 18 nodes across the globe, and this is that private network we will share for the hackathon. As told, the details will be shared about the endpoints, the integration points, and all those details will be shared as we move forward in our event. So this is about DL orchestrator. So how easy it is, right, to basically provision your network. I can take question around orchestrator later. Right, we can move to other aspect of it. Second part is our DL gateway, right? So I talked about DL gateway is one view, one window, right, where you can come and manage your project, right? Assume as an enterprise, you have multiple projects across multiple blockchain type and blockchain network. It's very hard to manage each and every, right? If I provide you a single window where you can come and manage your project lifecycle, then it will be easier for developers and admins to manage their product. So this is where DL gateway comes in. Here you can create your project. So let me do that quickly. You can select your network, right? Hyperledger, the network that I created, you can use that, right? And you can create a channel, say test channel at this point of time. HackDLT. So we can use the existing one actually. So this one and create it, right? So what it will do is it will create the project for you. For this, I used Hyperledger Fabric, but you can use Ethereum also, right? Based on what kind of project you want to create. And once it is created, it will give you certain information. What is your project ID? What is your project secret? This secret is important. So every time you want to access certain APIs of DL gateway, you have to pass this secret in authorization before you can consume those APIs. Then we give you certain features like you can delete a project or update a project. You can see the stats of your project, right? Currently, it's just a new project, so you don't see any activity. But as you do certain activity on your network, you will see those stats here. Then if it is a Hyperledger project, you will get the option to instantiate your chain code or deploy your chain code. If it is Ethereum project, you have other functionality like deploy the chain code and other things, right? So this is about that one window where you can use and manage your project across network for your organizations. There are certain analytics stats that you can visualize here, right? Like how good your Ethereum network is doing, right? What is the hash rate, TPS, gas price, difficulties. You can also see if it is a Hyperledger Fabric network, how many channels you have, how many chain code you have, right? What is the peer, right? So all those network statistics as an enterprise you have to manage. You have a single view here. so that you don't have to log into say 10 places just to see how you are doing, right? So these useful information come here. Similarly, as and when your project grows, it's very hard to manage. So apart from network statistics, you have your project statistics, and you can click on the project, and all those activity that we saw right from the dashboard page, you can see it from here also. Another point I talk about is this gateway provides certain APIs that you should be using it, right, for either of the project, Ethereum and Fabric, right? So you need certain documentation. So these page about that documentation, where you can find right how to choose a network, how to request Ethereum, right? So as you know, test network has its own faucet, right, to fill up your account so that you can continue with your testing. In this case, DL testnet also have that functionality where you can use right to fill to basically add ether, right, your test ether to your account, right? So this is where you can use that portal, and before you can access your APIs, you basically wants to know which version, and once you have that information, you can actually see all Ethereum endpoints that we can use, right, for our development of our D apps, right? So this is where that information lies. This is about Ethereum. We have similar information around Fabric. So this is where the Fabric documentations come around, right? Similar to Ethereum, we have a similar structure. You want to know about the block info, right? Install chain code. You want to actually install a chain code, instantiate it, invoke it. So all those API information that you need, this is where you have to come, right? So Gateway provide you that documentation. It's neatly written before you go start your development, right? So this is one place where you come and see how you can actually consume those APIs. So this is about DL Gateway. After DL Gateway, I talked about we have explorers, right? So you see at 3 tiles, right, that talks about Explorer. I will go one by one. I will mostly interested in DL testnet. This is where you will work. But we have Fabric Explorer. So every time you create a network, right, you want to see certain activity about your transactions, right, whether it has passed, failed, and all those things, right? So this is where you will come, right? You will see the status of your network. Right, and it will give you all the details that you need, right? So it's a very handy tool. I will not go into details, right? Once it's very easy, right? Once you log in, you will automatically able to reach to right pages for right information. So this is what Hyperledger Explorer is all about. If you need any help around Explorer, any details you need, you can always reach out to our common channel, or we have other communication channel also that you can reach out. Apart from Fabric Explorer, Ethereum we have to explore, right? Then you will ask why we have to explore. The first explorer that you will see here is about mainnet, right? So there are so many things that is happening in Ethereum mainnet. You may come across Etherscan or something similar, right? DLT Labs or DL Unify has its own explorer that provides you the Ethereum mainnet blockchain statistics, activities, right, and many other things. Even we have integration with tutors and all those things. So we are building this explorer, and we hope that we make it. This explorer becomes a leader when it comes to Ethereum main network, right? This is for later use, but for say the hackathon, right? We will not ask you to use mainnet because that requires the actual ether, right? It will be very costly. So we have our own testnet. We will share the details of the testnet as we progress. But if you see, this is where our your DLT testnet transaction comes, right? So this is where how it looks. It's very easy. All your recent transaction that you do will come here. If you want to search, say, if there are 100 teams using it, right? You want to do a search via address and accounts, you can use this search bar. All your pending transaction will come here, and there are certain tools, right? The submit transaction, verify, and if you want to verify a signature and all those things. When I say submit a transaction, you have, say, Remix. Given you have integration with the MetaMask, you can always use Remix. We have Unify CLI that you can use for compilation, deployment, invocation. There are multiple ways. It's up to the developer to choose which one they find it easy, right? So, and if you need any help, we have user manuals. We have our communication channel open, right? We will try to answer or resolve your query as soon as possible. So this is where this Explorer comes in. So what I have touched, basically the three aspects of it. Orchestrator about creating your Fabric network, right? An Ethereum network. The gateway to manage all of your project. For event, I hope you will create a single project, right? Because this is what the time permits. And then I touch upon that visualization. So we have Fabric Explorer if you choose a Fabric project. We have Ethereum Explorer in case you choose our private Ethereum network. So this is what we do. There are certain information around tools like Remix, MetaMask, IPFS, the Visual Studio Code extension for Hyperledger Fabric, right? So those details we will share it either in the mail or the common channel, communication channel that we have, right? So those tool information will go, and if you need any help, you can always reach out to us. Apart from the products and say the services that we have that we spoke about, we have tutorials, right? You need certain information, right? Certain information you cannot find yourself. You certainly need certain guidance. This is where these tutorials help, right? So I spoke about DL orchestrator, right? But if you want to go into details how actually it works, how you create it, right? So all these tutorials, video tutorials and text tutorials we have created for that purpose. So if you are stuck anywhere, this can be your first guide. If you still don't find the solution here, then forum is there. And if you still need a quick resolution to your query, then we have that communication channel that Ajay spoke about. So for each product, right, we have a tutorial here, right? So I hope this is your first guide. And if you are still stuck, we are always here to help because we want you to succeed in the event that we are doing, right? Then other things about forum that I spoke about, right? So anything that you need, right, in a quick searchable manner. Some of our tutorials may be video, right? You don't know where to find what. Assume that you want to quickly find it. You can reach out to forum from the Unify and say you want to see the MetaMask integration, right? How to integrate MetaMask with DL Unify, right? So you don't have to go anywhere, just search it in our forum and you will find a lot of details around a particular topic, right? So this you can treat as a Stack Overflow, and this will be open for public soon. So even after the event, right? You want to search for any blockchain related query, you can always come to this forum and search for your query, or you think you can also contribute it, right? So resolving those query, you guys are most welcome, right? So this is the forum that can help you answering some of the questions, right? Also, it may happen that there are some technical issues with our platform, right? In that case, you need some kind of a support. This is where you can come in and you can request support. There are FAQs. Again, this is a quick help. Certain queries, right, are repetitive, right? You don't even have to raise a request. So this is where these FAQs will help resolving your queries in a faster turnaround time. But if you think there are still some issues that none of those information helps you with, right? So this is where you can come, right? You can say, I have issue with the orchestrator, with the network provisioning and all those things. You can mention your issue, subject, attachment, and submit, right? And this will create a ticket, and someone from DLT Labs team, DL Unify team will come and resolve that ticket for you guys, right? So I hope this is a quick tour. I don't expect you to observe every information, but we have managed dedicated time for some of the important services, some of the important products, right? After this, I think you will get a deep dive into CDL orchestrator. Then we have one more session around DL gateway. And as I told, to make you familiar, right? At least for those who are coming to blockchain for the first time and they want to learn more, we have a separate session developing of smart contract and developing of chain code. And if you guys need a certain session, right, especially for those who are new, we are happy to arrange those sessions if required, right? Feel free to communicate to us, and if required, we can arrange certain session. So objective is clear. This is about you guys understanding blockchain, understanding DL Unify, and how you can actually use blockchain, right, to solve certain real life problem, and how you can use DL Unify to basically make those solution development easy. So I will pause a bit, right? I think we are on the top of the hour, but I think I can give you 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to post your question so that I can answer it. Otherwise, we can take a break and then we can join next session after this.
So anyone who has questions, please type in the chat box. Purushottam or, Ajay would be able to answer the questions.
So while people are asking question, so what you are seeing here, right, DL Unify, you will get login credentials. And we will not, sorry, you have to register to DL Unify. And once registration is successful and your registration is verified, you will get the login credential. You can reset the credential and actually land up on this portal, and you can do what I was doing here, right? So I can see one question. Sir, please do keep some session for the fundamentals. So Deepak, can you be explicit, right? When you say fundamentals, what specific fundamentals you want to know about? If it is smart contract or a chain code development, we already have those sessions. But if you have something that you want to learn and we can take session, we will be happy to do that. But I want you to be specific exactly what you need. So Deepak, even at any point of time, okay. So about blockchain in particular, sure. So so we will arrange one session around blockchain if required.
Yeah. Also, I would suggest this, Deepak. I'm giving you a link. So on our YouTube channel, DLT Labs, you have a complete introduction about what is blockchain all about. It's a very big session. So probably you can go through it. I'm also sending this link, and anyone who has this doubt, you can go back to our DLT Labs YouTube channel, and you should be able to get that info.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, thanks. So we have so many tutorials already, right? That can help, and we are there to answer any query. So I think one anonymous attendee has asked, where can we reach out to you for your queries other than DLT forum? So all those communication means, right? Ajay and DLT Labs team will share those details over mail or some other medium. So you will have those details with you so that you can post your queries there. Yeah, so those details will come soon. I see one more question from Divya Siri. What are the carrier opportunities in blockchain technology and how we can crack them. So this is a good question, Divya. So if you see, right, the buzzword in the world, there are two that is the hot take at this point of time, right? Blockchain is one and AI is another, right? So and the kind of investment that is going into the blockchain, there are so many startups coming, many existing enterprises and MNC, right? They are adopting blockchain fast. So the market is very ripe. I think these MNCs and startups are actually looking from blockchain skill set, and they are struggling to find those skill set, right? So the demand is very high, and they are looking for a good supply, right? So if I have to suggest someone, right, whether blockchain can give you the career opportunity, I will say this is the first one. So this is what I will say. How to crack them? Second question was how we can crack them, right? So this is the first step, right? One is you read about blockchain and go through materials and all those things, right? But that will take time. And these kind of hackathon event, right, where you can expedite those process, where you try to actually build something, right, from scratch. You will learn, you will utilize the complete ecosystem that we spoke about, and after 12 days you will have something built on blockchain, right? So I will say how we can enter it. These kind of hackathon event will help you actually ramp up your blockchain skills sooner than any other medium. Yeah. Any other question, guys, that I can answer? So I will wait for 30 seconds more, and then we can take a break. Okay, guys. So I will rest this tour here, and I wish best of luck, and I hope you will have a good time here using our DL Unify platform. And I hope by say at the end of the 12th day, right, you will have a very creative solution in place. So thank you very much, and I think you will be there, right, for another session after 10 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, thanks, Purushottam. Thank you so much. That was really insightful. So everyone, we are taking a quick break, till 7:15. So it's not much time right now from now on. So 7:15, we will circle back, and from 7:15, there will be a tour on DL Orchestrator, which will be done by Deepak Singh, right? Thank you so much. Please stay back here. We'll shortly come back by 7:15.
Last year, Walmart Canada joined forces with DLT Labs to launch the world's largest industrial blockchain solution, which is now poised to transform freight management globally. Simply put, blockchain links everyone's data into one shared ledger, so all parties are on the same page. The solution, called DL Freight, is now the national standard for Walmart Canada for third-party freight management and payment authorization. Loudon Owen is the CEO and chair of DLT Labs. Loudon, how does DL Freight simplify the process for a company that has data coming in from all different sources?
What DL Freight does is it draws the information together in one place in what's called a shared ledger, allows all the parties that are working together to see that information and then uses it. It automatically calculates all the myriad calculations that are required in a freight transportation transaction. So it makes the world a lot simpler and a lot more reliable.
Managing freight means managing data, mountains of it. Walmart Canada receives 500,000 shipments annually. Each shipment invoice must track over 200 separate pieces of data, all of which have to be checked and used to calculate charges. DL Freight has automated the entire process for both Walmart and its carriers. John Bayliss is Senior Vice President of Logistics and Supply Chain for Walmart Canada.
It simplified the way of working between our teams, our payment processors, and our carriers. It's got us over this real bottleneck of dispute resolution, which was getting our carriers paid on time. The cost and the waste associated with chasing dispute resolution has come down dramatically, from 70% to now under 2%. And that's from real observations on over 85,000 invoices in the first few months. So we're seeing the proof of the waste that can be wrung out of this system.
From start to finish of any shipment, every piece of information is placed on a ledger shared by both parties. All information is visible on an ongoing basis. By the time the delivery is confirmed, all calculations are completed and approved. The information is collected and validated, and without any further effort, there's a complete invoice that both parties accept. Rod Hendrickson is Vice President of Finance for Bison Transport.
Before having DL Freight technology, we had a high level of discrepancies in terms of what we billed Walmart and what Walmart was expecting to be billed from Bison. That's not uncommon in the industry. But since the implementation of DL Freight, we have processed almost 15,000 invoices and have a discrepancy percentage of under 2%. So we are very, very pleased. That's a significant reduction.
Alex Fu is CFO of Titanium Transportation, a partner carrier of Walmart Canada.
I would really, really love to see the industry and other companies adopt DL Freight as their standard. And the reason is simple. It creates a lot of efficiencies and it simplifies the billing and payment process.
In addition to simplifying invoicing, DL Freight is impacting many aspects of how goods are shipped. How significant is the improvement from this technology?
We can understand patterns around stores that aren't turning as quickly, depots that aren't turning as quickly, routes that aren't as efficient as both of us would like them to be.
Francis Lalonde is Vice President of Transportation for Walmart Canada.
So it had a major impact on how we do business. We were after three different opportunities. Opportunity number one was resolve carrier payment issues. Opportunity number two was improve our ways of working because we were inefficient processing that. And the third one was to create visibility and then establishing that trust. And we've done all those three things with our implementation with DL Freight.
I think this solution has the potential for being a big game changer for supply chains all across the industry. We have hundreds of customers. And when I see the improvement that we have seen, in terms of the cleanliness of the account, the timeliness of payments, I think that if I had all of my accounts in such a good shape, I would be in a very happy mood.
By working with DL Freight, Walmart Canada has proven that trust and transparency are not just old world concepts, but current and future world driving forces for continued growth and success.
Here we are 18 months later, rolled it out nationally to all of our carriers, and it's working. This is a forward-leaning, digital, innovative thing, first of its kind in the world. I mean, we've rolled this out for all of our carriers, big and small in Canada, and we've had phenomenal reviews from our carriers and all of our teams. And so, I think when you're first in developing something, you have the opportunity to really set the standard. And we're excited to be part of that partnership and that prospect with DLT.
HackDLT Labs is the largest pool of blockchain experts in the world. And at a technical level, we do something called distributed data management, powered by blockchain, and of course, largely powered by IBM's Fabric. So we help the world realize the benefits and the power of blockchain. We build enterprise solutions, we solve people's problems, and we bring blockchain to life. Blockchain is the first true innovation, the first true transformation in the way data is managed ever. So it's a unique ability to store information in multiple locations all at once, and to share that information on a highly secure basis so you can trust it. And it's changing the world rapidly. It's hard sometimes to talk about blockchain without people asking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But the universe of blockchain really, and where we think it's the most important, is in changing organizations, governments, and solving problems based on a lack of trust. And I think what's unique about the relationship with IBM is we can actually help to demonstrate what blockchain can do today. A lot of the discussions surrounding blockchain are theoretical, and a lot of them are fascinating and they're academic, but the client's needs are imminent and they're urgent and they're desperate. One example is GDPR, which is an evolving legislation in Europe. People need to be able to control the privacy of data. It's not just in Europe, of course, it happens worldwide. And IBM is a unique partner in that respect because they have the infrastructure and the security that'll form the background for being able to bring blockchain to these enterprises. We're very fortunate to have effectively partnered with this army of technologists and entrepreneurs. What struck us is the generational changes, whether it's artificial intelligence or the Internet of Things, the IoT, or whether, of course, it's blockchain, which is a domain of our particular expertise. They're merging, they're unifying. So the opportunity for DLT Labs is to work with IBM, with Fabric, which is its blockchain, Hyperledger Fabric, but also to work with the existing products and services and all the support IBM has. So for us at DLT Labs, what it's helping us do is very rapidly and confidently expand into many, many territories. We've opened in Japan, we've opened in Singapore, we're expanding into Africa rapidly, and that's apart from our North American base and our strong linkages into Europe. In other words, as a company which was founded relatively recently, we can go global ourselves and serve the needs of our clients and customers around the planet, largely in partnership with IBM and leveraging its support network.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for waiting. So I hope all of you are refreshed and came back. So going back to the agenda we have Deepak Singh with us, and Deepak will be taking us a sneak peek across the DL Orchestrator. Hi, Deepak.
Yeah, hello, thanks, Matt, for giving me the opportunity to speak on this. So
But probably you may have to
minutes, so
just speak a little loud, if that's possible.
Yeah, sure. Just give me a moment.
Thanks, Deepak. So yeah,
Is it
I think we can, I think we can start in a minute, or else, in next 30 seconds, probably we can start the session.
All right, sure, thanks.
Yes, Deepak, I think we can start.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. So hello, everyone. Good evening. So whosoever has joined. So I'm Deepak Singh. I'm working as senior software engineer in DLT Labs since last 3.5 years. So before wasting too much time on discussing about the different aspects, we will discuss more about DL Orchestrator tool. So discussing about DL Orchestrator tool, first we should understand why there was need of DL Orchestrator tool. So generally what we do whenever we are setting up a network for any kind of blockchain, be it Ethereum, be it Hyperledger Fabric, or be it any kind of blockchain. So there are a certain number of steps which we need to do in the background to make that particular network up and ready. So for instance, whenever we are creating a network, we need to do different kinds of operation. For instance, we need to create an infrastructure for that, for any different components over there. Then we need to verify that all all the infrastructure which we have created is having the required software stack on that or not. And whenever that software stack, whenever we are ready with that software stack, we need to configure different blockchain network components. So all in all, like there are different chain of command that we need to follow while setting up a blockchain network over there. And whenever that the configuration part has been done for setting up a network, we need to verify like all the components are able to communicate between each another, whether they are able to pass on the data or not. So these are different kind of challenges which we need to encounter whenever we are setting up network without using any tool. But when we talk about DL orchestrator, so it is a tool which gives you ability to set up a different blockchain network within few seconds or within few minutes. So all in all, we can say that whenever we are using DL orchestrator tool, we need not to worry about the different bare metal technicalities that are required and that we need to take care of. So just use the tool, DL orchestrator tool, and then we are simply good to go to use or to make different kind of transactions on the running network. In addition to this, like there are different other aspects as well, which I will walk you across through with the help of a small tutorial or like a small use and like how to use that particular tool and how to make transactions on the network. So I will be sharing my screen and just let me know. Just give me a moment. Yeah, let me know when. Can you please confirm if my screen is visible?
Sure, not at Deepak.
Okay.
Now it is slowly appearing up. Yeah, we can see you.
Thanks, Mike. So till now we have access, like we have got more or less information about the DL Unified tool and what are the different products which it supports, and how can we leverage all these tools to make different kind of applications using this DL Unified portal. So like I would be going through this DL Orchestrator tool, which would help us to get all the required information that we need to gather for setting up a blockchain network for doing all sorts of transactions in the network. So if we see, this is one of the tool which supports automatic setting of different networks and then doing all kind of transactions and checking all the logs of those containers. And there are different, all sort of functionalities are there. We'll quickly go across those functionalities one by one. So basically, this is the sidebar, which are having 4 options: network, nodes, organizations, and requests. So when I talk about networks, there are 3 kinds of network which are supported over here. So first one is Element. Element is nothing but it is a database on blockchain. So when I say it is a database on blockchain, it simply means we would be performing different kinds of blockchain queries that are written natively in SQL, but behind they all would be getting executed inside Hyperledger Fabric network. So Element network is our customized network, which is being managed by DLT Labs. So it's a solution for building your blockchain applications that are natively built for databases. So we will be using Element for that. Next, we have Ethereum. So Ethereum is that public available blockchain network. So like as mentioned by Purushottam as well in our earlier talk. So that is kind of network that DL orchestrated tool supports, and here like different sort of frameworks or different sort of networks can be configured using this tool. So the mainnet, testnet, Rinkiby, and all those kind of things. Then we have Hyperledger Fabric. So it is permissioned blockchain network. So like just to explain, there are mainly two types of network: public based and permission based. So permission based blockchain networks are those which are kind of managed by private entities, or like which you would not be sharing with different and with the public forum. But on the other hand, if we talk about Element, if we talk about Ethereum blockchain network, so that is like publicly accessible, and you can like whatever transactions you are doing on the network, that would be accessed by all the users who are using that particular platform. So now here you could see like then we have nodes and organizations. So these are simply like we would not be using these things during the hackathon, the nodes and organization portal, but just to help you across. Like nodes is nothing, just whenever we are launching a network, we are creating n number of components, right? Be it order Kafka zookeepers. But when we are talking about nodes, it simply means we would be launching peer and couch containers. So all in all, it simply means that few number of components would be launched with the help of this node tab. And then we have organizations. So as mentioned earlier as well, so when we talk about blockchain network, there are different kinds of organizations that come together on a platform, and then they define the business logic that would be used for managing all the kind of data or all kind of tools and applications which we would be performing over there. So that's where the role of organizations comes in. So we can initiate different or n number of organizations for a certain network, and then we can make transactions on the network. And here we have a request portal. So request window is there. So here, all the requests which we are creating for DL Orchestrator 2 could be verified over here or could be tracked over here. So the process is very easy. What we need to do, first we need to create a request for launching a network. And then as soon as that we create a network, we could see that particular request would be in the status approval pending. So what do we understand by this? Simply like when we create a request, it goes for the admin approval. And whenever that admin verifies your request, we are good to go for initializing our operation or starting our operation. So for instance, I'll create one network based on Hyperledger Fabric. And then I would walk across to different keywords that are being used over here. And what are the statistics or what are the keywords that we need to use during the hackathon. That would I would also walk you across those parameters. So first is host type, single host and multi-host. So this is basically like the kind of infrastructure which we want to use. Single host simply means that all the components of the blockchain network would be running on single server. And then if we use multi-host, then it means that all the components would be like, they would be distributed across the different infrastructure resources. And then they would be making the communication to each other across the network which we have set up. So this is for host type. And then we have tenancy. So here, shared and dedicated. So this is this would basically for the hackathon, we would be using the shared tenancy. But to explain what tenancy and how this is being referred in DL Orchestrator tool, it simply means whenever we are using a shared tenancy, it could be used by different users as well who would be using these applications. But if we are using this dedicated tenancy, it simply means that that particular infrastructure which we have configured, that would be solely dedicated to that particular user who have made this request. So this was all about the host type and the tenancy. And if we go across the orchestration tool, so here we have Docker Swarm and Kubernetes. Kubernetes coming soon, but as of now, we are supporting Docker Swarm. Then we have Cloud Platform. So here we can see like two cloud platforms supported for this hackathon. So AWS and Azure. So like if we want to run our blockchain network on AWS provision servers, then we can use AWS. And if you want to use Azure-based cloud, then we can use Microsoft Azure. But for the hackathon purpose, we would be using AWS. So all in all, we would be giving for single host, shared tenancy, and AWS cloud platform. And by default, the cloud profile will be used as a default. We are not going to use any custom cloud profile for this event. So now I'm proceeding to the next step. So here we could see like we need to pass on the domain name. So domain name is the domain name which we want to use for our network. So these details could be provided by the user. Just need to make sure that whatever domain name we are providing on this platform has not been used by someone else earlier. If it has been used by some other party, then automatically we would get a message from the on the dashboard that this particular name, that domain name has already been configured and could not be used by you. So suppose I'm using this supplychain.net. And then we have the option of giving the option of clear logging level. So as mentioned, so we would be having different option of viewing the logs of those containers. So by default, we support info, debug, warning, and error. But for this hackathon event, initially we would be setting our network using this info mode log level. And then we have the organization details. So here we could increase the organization details as much as we want to, depending on the condition that what kind of blockchain network we are going to set up and what kind of business logic different parties have agreed upon to set up a network. So here we could choose our number of organization, and here we could also choose the organization name. So it's up to the end of up to user what kind of name that particular user is going to use. So that could be decided. So, but for the hackathon purpose, we'll be using just one organization for this thing. So I have just updated the organization name, and this obviously this could also be increased the peer count. So basically, when I say peer and CA, so CA is nothing but a certificate authority that would be there to verify or give a certificate to different kind of users who are going to initiate a transaction on the network. So all in all, when I say a user is doing a transaction in a blockchain network, that user must have a valid certificate with himself. So for initiating any kind of transaction, if the certificate is not valid, then the user is not allowed to make any kind of transactions on the network. So this is CA, that is certificate authority, and the next is peers. So peer will be connected to one of the databases, which is supported by Hyperledger Fabric. So whatever transaction we are making, that is automatically getting stored in the CousDB. So CousDB is the database layer which we are going to use for setting up Hyperledger Fabric blockchain network. So as mentioned, like by default, we can increase the count, but for the hackathon purpose, we are just going to use the minimalistic detail that are required to any kind of transaction or n number of transactions on the network. And then proceeding to the next step, here we could choose the network name, whatever we want to use. So it's up to the user what kind of name they want to use. So as mentioned, the testnet is available, so I can choose. And we have the network type, public and private. So it's up to the user what kind of network type they can use. When we say public, that simply means that whatever, if we are launching a network, there could be some other user as
Deepak, if you are speaking, your voice is stuck. I mean, your video is stuck. Deepak, you are on mute.
Yeah, sorry, back again. Some network disconnectivity. So I share my screen again. Please let me know when it's visible.
Yeah, we can see this one.
Okay, thanks. So as I was talking about the network name, so I'll repeat it again if there was some communication gap. So network name is the network name which we are putting for our network. So it's up to the user what kind of network name they want to use. They can simply put in the detail over here, and if that network name is available, then user can use it. Otherwise, if that network name has already been used by some other user or some other organization which is using this DL orchestrated tool, then the different name should be provided by the user. Then we have network type. So here simply like we would be providing the public and private network type. When we are saying public, so that simply means anyone who wants to collaborate on our platform or who wants to collaborate on our network can set up a public blockchain network, or otherwise it's private. So these are the basic details that we need to take care of while setting up the network. And this is the order type. So etcd raft, this is the consensus mechanism which is being followed at the back end of the blockchain. So so we will be choosing etcd raft, and then the version which we can use for the hackathon. So we will be using the 2.2.0. So that is LTS, which is being supported by Hyperledger Fabric. So for this hackathon, we will be using 2.2 blockchain network. And then the number of order which we want to spawn. So here I'm just choosing one. That is the minimal detail which we need to use for setting up a network and doing the transactions on the network. And similarly, as for the peer, we are having order logging level for orders as well. So again, I'm choosing as info, and by default for chain code, we are having info. And then we can provide the username configuration password for CousDB as well as for CA, that is the certificate authority we are using. So by default, I'm just going to use these default values so that, but it's up to the user. They may change it as they want to. So after proceeding over to the next stage, here I would be getting the summary of what kind of request we would be submitting on the platform. So here is the basic detail that would be submitted to the admin of this platform. So here I'm just proceeding to it. So as I've submitted my request, here we could see like the request has been sent to admin for the approval, and here we could see like the approval is pending. So as soon as the admin verifies whether all the parameters which you have submitted for spawning up network are correct and valid, those requests would be approved and you would be good to go for initializing your operations. So here we could see like different operations which have been already running over here. So here these are the different stages that are being that is being happening in the background for setting up network. So as mentioned in the earlier talk as well, like whenever we are spawning up a network, there are a lot of things which are running in the background, like spawning up your infra, then setting up different parameters for running those blockchain networks. And then all in all, there we have the starting network option. So network would be starting, then we'll be doing the network sanity. So sanity as in simple, we need to make sure that whatever components we have launched on the network are able to make communication within two different components which we are having on now. So once all those details are, once the network has been spawned and the sanity has been done, that reaches into the completed state. Whenever we get this stage cycle as green, that simply means that all the stages have been successfully passed and the network is up and running. So as of now, I'd be using already running network, which we are having. So here we could see the different details that are essential, that would be essential for checking all the details of the platform. So here we could see the main details, so that for identifying the network, which we are going to use. So here you could see like I have two networks on the basis of domain name, that is netdata.io and astdet.com. And here's the network name as well, which we provided while setting up the configuration files. So as you can see, this network is in stop mode and this network is in running state. So we'll quickly go across this running network and look across what kind of operation which we can do on this platform. So here we can see, since that was 2.2 network, here we are having 4 components: peers, orders, couch, and then CA. So CA is certificate authority, CouchDB is the database which would be storing all kind of information or all kind of transactions data which we are initiating on the blockchain network. Then we have orders. Order is nothing but like it is a tool of blockchain network that simply manages the different kind of transactions which are coming on the network. So it is responsible for ordering all those blocks into some set pattern for initiating or mining those transactions. And then we have peer. So peer is nothing but this is that component of network that verifies that whatever transactions we are doing on the network is valid or not. If the transaction is valid, that transaction gets mined on the network. If the transaction is invalid, that simply like throws the different number of errors are available. Those errors are thrown to the user for checking up those logs. So what else we can see here? The actions tab is there. So here you could see like the stop option is there, logs option is there, and the stats option is there. So when I go, so stop is simply means whenever we want to stop the node, we can quickly click on this button, stop, and then simply this node would be automatically stopped. Then we have logs window. So one of the essential features of this DL orchestrator tool is that we not to, so when we are not using any kind of this orchestration tool, so what happens whenever we want to, see the logs of different containers which we are spawning on the platform. So we need to SSH on those servers, then we need to view those logs. So that is kind of troublesome for the users as well as for that individual as well who's managing that network, because you cannot every time go on the server and check the logs. So that is a kind of hectic process for the user to do. So what we have done, we have provided the logs window over here. So what you could do, you could get all the live logs over here. So also this is the way of increasing the size of the log window. And here we can see the filters are already also there. So if we click on the info mode, so all the logs which are of info category will be visible to the user. And similarly, if I click on error, all the messages which are of error mode will be visible to the user. But as we can see, like there are no errors as of now on this platform or on this particular peer. So no error is visible over here. And similarly, debug warning and all those kind of features are there. If we click on this cross button, so by default, all the things have been disabled and like total logs would be available over here. And then we have the number of logs. So how many logs we want to actually see from the peer container. So here we could define the limit. So the minimum is 200 and the maximum is 3000. So if you want to see all those logs at once, those files would be available to us. All the logs would be available to us. And here we have functionality of go live as well. So what it does, so it shows the live logs to us. So if we are doing any kind of transactions on this network, so live logs will be visible to us. So I'll just initiate transaction. One transaction I will initiate. So just that we can see what kind of logs would be visible to the user. So I've initiated a transaction and then we could see the different logs which we are getting across on this panel. Mac, am I audible? Or like, is there something?
You're audible. You're audible, Deepak.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So all in all, like there are some other options as well. If you want to stop one node, here we'll click on this to stop. So here's a pop-up that checks the surety of this operation which we want to do on this platform. If we are sure that we want to stop this container, we would simply click on this, and simply in the background, what would be happening, that this particular network would be getting stopped. And as soon as this network is stopped, we can see the status of that particular container. So here we can see we got the pop-up message, the container stopped successfully, and here's the state of that particular container. And then again, if you want to start it, we can simply start that particular container again, so that like, it's up to the user whether they are using that particular network at certain moment or not. If they are using it, they can simply keep the network in a running mode, and if they're not using it, they can simply put it into a stop mode. But all in all, it's up to the end user who is managing this network to keep or to start and stop the node in synchronized manner. I mean, there's a pattern that we need to take care of while stopping and starting a network. So suppose what happens is, since whatever transaction we are doing on PS is currently going to the cows DB, right? So suppose we start the cows DB, but PR is still running, right? So what would be happening in the background? The network won't be able to communicate to its different components that we are providing. So automatically those networks will be getting failed. So it's up to the end user to manage the network in such a way that all the components are running whenever we are looking at transactions on the network. Then we have functionality for creating a channel as well. So we can create different channel on the platform. So I'm just creating my channel over here, and the organization name. It's up to the user what kind of channel which you want to create. So I'm creating my channel test. I've chosen the organization as org, and the selected peer is peer 0. So since this is the network which we are having, so by default we were having organization as org1 and peer 0 was available. So we have initiated network on the platform. So once this channel gets created, we'll get a log in the UI that particular channel has been created. So here you can see the channel has been created. So also if you want to verify that whether that particular option was visible in the background or not, so here we could search the different kind of logs. So here you can see that I created a channel, my channel test. So all those logs are visible over here, and here there is some warning. So if we just click on this warning filter, so all the warning logs would be available to the user. So all in all, this is a kind of tool which we need whenever we are developing a blockchain network, and whenever we want to build any application or any service which internally consumes the blockchain network. So this tool could be utilized for that purpose. So whenever that network is in starting state, we can also start the network. So I'm just starting one of the network which was previously in the stop mode. So here we could see that as of now the network status is in pending state. So now we can see like all the networks are running. So here inside the network we could see the details of different components. And automatically once these components get started, we could check all the details of the network which we are doing over there. And then there is one more feature, like if you want to use it, there is one option of downloading the crypto config. So I'm generating the crypto config link. So crypto config is nothing but whenever we are spawning a network, there are different kind of certificates that are being provided to different entities which we are creating during blockchain network. So the certificate of all those would be available through this option. So if the user wants to consume that particular thing, they can simply download the crypto config. So here we can see the crypto config has been downloaded. So it would automatically contain all the details or all the certification details or the membership service provider, like who's validating this, whether that particular C is valid or not. So all the required certification and the required YAML files would be provided through this option. So this was all about DL orchestrated tool. And if someone has any kind of doubt, please feel free to pitch in.
If you have any questions, please type in the Q&A section. Deepak will be able to answer those questions.
If someone has any questions, feel free to ask.
No, Deepak, I don't think anyone has any questions.
Okay, then thanks, Matt. This was all about DL orchestrated tool. So Thank you and good luck to all.
Amazing. Thanks, Deepak. Thank you so much. So now we will have Saurabh from DL Unify team. He would be taking us across the sneak peek for DL Gateway. I hope Saurabh joined as a panelist, right? Hi, Saurabh.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Am I audible to you, Matt?
Yes, Saurabh, you're audible.
Yeah. Okay. So good evening, everyone. I'll be providing you the walkthrough of one of the product that of the DL Unify ecosystem, and that is DL Gateway. So as of now, everyone might be aware like how it will be spawn a DL blockchain network. Now after the creation of a blockchain network, you need to do the transaction on it, and you need to implement the business logic. And business logic is implemented through a chain code. So DL Gateway is that product that facilitates the development and execution of the chain code on the Hyperledger Fabric network or the Ethereum blockchain network, or like any blockchain network. It provides you an intuitive UI, as well as it provides you the powerful REST APIs to interact with the network and to do transaction and to implement the business logic. So I'll be just sharing my screen, and we'll have a walkthrough of DL Gateway. Okay, Mac, can you tell me, like, is my screen visible?
No, man. Give me 1 minute. I think no, yeah. It was not visible yet.
Okay. Yes,
now it is. Now it is visible.
Okay. Okay. So we'll quickly come to the DL Unify landing page. After you log in, you have all the products listed here. Deepak has already provided the walkthrough of DL Orchestrator. Now we will be having the walkthrough of DL Gateway. So I'll click on DL Gateway and I'll land up onto the DL Gateway landing page. So when you will come on to DL Gateway, you will have like a welcome page or any project if it's created that will be listed down here. So currently this is my user, and I have these many projects already created, so they are visible here. So a project generally is needed to manage your chain code effectively, because a chain code consists of a business logic that you deploy it on a network, and that chain code might undergo multiple updates and many more things. So for all those things, what we do in DL Gateway is we create an project, and that project features and it helps to manage everything related to the chain code. So for creating the chain code, just click on the create project and enter some name. For example, let me just put HackDLT, and you need to select the blockchain. For instance, I'm selecting Hyperledger Fabric, then the network. So yeah, so here all those network will be coming, which you have created on the DL Orchestrator. So if you see on the DL Orchestrator, there were these two networks running. Yeah, so there are these two networks running on the DL Orchestrator. So on coming to DL Gateway, you need to create a project on these network if you have selected Hyperledger Fabric blockchain. So I'm choosing HackDLT for now, and there is an option of like doing the deploying the chain code on the existing channel, or like I can create a new channel as well. So for now, I'm like choosing one of the existing channel or test demo, and I'll put some description here, and I'll create that project. Okay. So as you can see, the project is created. It shows the project ID or the blockchain on which it is created, the channel name, and the network name, the endpoint, and the project secrets. So this project secret is very important, which we will be needing for doing like almost everything on the DL gateway for the particular project. Right? Now we have created the project, and now we need to deploy the chain code. So for deploying the chain code, or like installing in terms of Fabric, we say installation and the instantiation of the chain code. So for that, we need to just click on this, and depending upon your network version, it opens you to the UI, and here you can select the language, and then you can select the your chain code folder. So I have one pre-written chain code. I'll just quickly select it. Yeah, one thing is that it support zipped format. So whatever chain code you have written, you need to zip it up, and then only the like upload will be possible. So this is already a zipped one, and I'm just like and uploading it. It requires the chain code name, so let me just put Hack2, and it's available. And let me just put the version 1 and deploy. So there is a progress bar coming, and it will keep coming unless the chain code gets installed and instantiated. It takes around, so it's already installed. Now the instantiation is in progress. So it generally takes around like 20 to 30 seconds, depending upon the speed of the network and all. So meanwhile, this is in progress. We can explore the other things on the DL gateway. So other thing is the network tab. So this tab shows you shows the few statistics which are there, like how many users are onboarded on the DL gateway, or the how many total number of users are using the DL gateway, how many projects are spawned recently, and the Ethereum statistics and the Hyperledger Fabric network statistics. For example, for Hyperledger Fabric network HackDLT, how many channels are there, how many chain codes are currently instantiated, how many peer order, number of peer order, CS, and all those things. Then there's one statistics section where it shows the statistics of all the projects. For example, this project. So it shows all the API details, like what all APIs have been hit corresponding to this particular project. For example, you can see the number like invoke chain code. For example, so the invoke chain code has been invoked for by like 19 times. Install chain code four times. 27 post APIs, 11 get APIs, and these are the top 5 APIs which have been used. So all these things are shown for a particular project and under the project statistics. One can also navigate it from here also. For example, here by clicking here, also he can navigate to the same. Then we have API docs. I'll come to the API docs later. Meanwhile, I can see that the project has been or the chain code has been deployed by the name hack2 and the version 1. Okay. Now we can perform the other transaction. Transactions mainly include the invoking. By invoking means whatever business logic you have encoded into the chain code, you need to call those functions and basically invoking is performing the transaction on the blockchain network. So I'll click on this button. This opens up the invoke function pop-up. I'll just use this function and enter the argument. So this function and the argument, what all argument it takes, all this is already being encoded into the chain code. Okay. From here, you are just transacting on that chain code, or like calling the functions which you have written into the chain code. So once it gets invoked, it returns you the status success message, it's successfully invoked, and the transaction ID. Okay. Now, now what have you done inside that transaction? Like what has happened and you have invoked that function. So that thing we can see on the Fabric Explorer, which like when Purushottam was explaining or getting the DL Unify walkthrough, he told about one of the tool or the product named Fabric Explorer. So by clicking here, it will redirect it to the Fabric Explorer, and it will show there what all transaction was done when this function was invoked. So currently, when I'll click, it will take me there, and as you can see this has happened. So it is showing the results here. This is the result of the transaction. You can completely like this was the input, and this is the result. This is the transaction has like all the other details like time and on when it was done, the block number in which the transaction got into. So all these things we can see here. Now coming back to this, we can invoke the other functions as well, likewise only. This button is for like editing. For example, you need to like change the, or you want to change the description or the project name, or you want to like delete the project. You no more need this chain code or this project. You can simply delete it. So this was all related to the DL Gateway UI, what things person can do through DL Gateway Web UI. Now the other thing that DL Gateway has, which I told you in the introduction, was the powerful REST APIs. So documentation is for those REST APIs. So DL Gateway provides REST APIs for Ethereum as well as for Fabric as well. So whatever DApp you will be creating, or whatever chain code, whatever you will be doing in the hackathon, you will be creating an application. So you will need to do the invoking from your application itself, right? You won't be coming onto the DL Gateway Web again and again and doing the transaction. It will be a complete application, and through that application will be doing all the transaction or invoking the various functions of your chain code. So for that you will be using the APIs, right? So this is the documentation of those APIs. Here I can like we have given the examples. For example, if you need to like install invoke the chain code. So this is the curl example which is already there. What are headers it takes, what are request body parameters it takes, and what are the success responses. So all those things are well mentioned into the documentation. You can just take it, like read it, and as a developer, you can easily start implementing into your application. I'll just show you one example here. I'll do for example, this is one invoke chain code API, right? So through you can hit those APIs through Postman as well, and by referring to the documentation, what all things it requires. It requires an authorization, and body should contain such parameters. So I have already created that authorization. I have already mentioned inside the body. I have already created the body of the API, referring to the documentation, and when I will be hitting it, it should invoke the function name list all vehicles with empty or arguments. So when I have click on the send button. Okay, so this is the invoke. Status, success, custom code, message, transaction ID, and invoke result. So this was the result that came as an output when we invoke that function. Okay, you can take this transaction ID and you can check it onto the Fabric Explorer. Likewise, we have just seen here. You can search that transaction ID, and all the details of the transaction will come here as well. Okay, so that was what all was possible through the APIs the DL Gateway provide. Now we have one more part of this, and that is the HackDLT Fabric extension. So as you can see, like this is something somewhat of like production environment thing, right? Here you can like finally, I mean, you can do your testing and all as well, but like this is where you will be like finally deploying your smart chain code, and your final application will be like deployed from here. But for like playground or like for all testing and other things, you can use the VS Code extension. So we have the DL Gateway Fabric blockchain extension. You can simply search it on the VS Code marketplace, and it will easily get installed. Yes, the system should have prerequisites, and if any prerequisite is not there, we have documentation shared how to install all those dependencies, and once all those dependencies are installed, you're good to go and play around the Fabric blockchain onto your local machine. So this is the welcome page of the extension. Here you can like create a network, right? Yeah, here you can create the network. So this will be launched locally, like from Orchestrator. That was launched for you on the servers on which you choose, like AWS or in Azure. This is for like playground kind of thing, and this is for testing your chain codes and all. So here the sample network will be launched onto your machine. So when you'll click on the start network, so like network will start, and it has all all other things like creation of the channel and deploying of the chain code. Deploying of the chain code is like it will take the channel name and the chain code folder. You need to select the chain code folder and the chain code name and chain code version. Okay. So all these things are there. Now extension and you can invoke that chain code and you can get the transaction details from here. Extension also provide you or leverages the deployment directly from extension to the gateway. For example, you have done your play around and you have tested your chain code. You have tested your chain code, and I see, like I had started the network. The network had started, and these are the components. You can see the various logs of those components as well. Right. So this is a network that I just started onto my local system, and these are logs of the various components of the network, and you can perform all those operations. For example, creation of the channel and deploying a chain code, invoke, get the transaction details, all those from the extension. So what I was telling was after you have done the testing and all, you want to deploy that chain code directly to the DL gateway. So you just need to come to this page, switch to this tab, and fill in these details, and this chain code will be deployed to the DL gateway platform. Right. So here, what all things it takes the project secret. Okay. So in the starting, I told you that this project secret is of the great importance, right? So if I want to deploy any chain code onto this project, so I need these details and this project secret to fill in here, and I need to like just the chain code type. Chain code typing is basically the language. Chain code name, with what name I want to install or deploy the chain code, the version, the channel name. So all those details, like the channel name, you can get it from here. The network name is here. Function name, argument, email, like as a user, your email, and the project secret, right? by doing and the upload chain code. So upload chain code will take your chain code and upload it, and it will deploy it on the DL gateway. So basically you have three ways of deploying a chain code onto DL gateway. One is through the DL gateway UI, like you just need to click on the instantiate chain code button. Second is through the APIs. We have the APIs install instantiate chain code for the deployment of the chain code, and the third one is you can deploy it through the VS Code extension. So as per your need and as per your convenience, you can deploy the chain code onto your network, and you can start transacting, and you can start building your application on top of blockchain. So that was all from my side. I'm open to the questions. So put in your questions into the chat. I'll be happy to answer them.
Everyone, feel free to give your questions, and Saurabh should be able to answer us.
Yeah. Basically, if we talk about the complete blockchain ecosystem or the unified ecosystem, DL Orchestrator is the product where you provision the network, and DL Gateway is where you deploy your chain code and perform the various transactions onto the chain code. And Fabric Explorer and Ethereum Explorers are the explorers which lets you see what all transactions have been done onto the network. So that is all. One more thing, like I forgot it. Deepak was telling about the logs, right? So that thing is you can leverage it while you are doing transaction on the gateway as well. For example, if you come to the orchestrator, you have opened the live logs, right? Now, if you are doing any transaction here, for example, you are just invoking a function here. Let me just invoke the function. So you can see the log of this invoke on your orchestrator. So all these, see, here it came, right? So all these products are interconnected, and they create a complete blockchain ecosystem together. So we did the transaction on the gateway, and we can see the logs here. So any quick questions, anyone?
I don't think so, Saurabh. No one is actually asking the questions.
Okay.
But maybe, after the session of Saurabh ends, there is a question answer session, which is open for all the attendees to, ask the questions to anyone in the panel. In fact, anyone in the panel would be able to answer based on the expertise. So in case if you have any difficulty in typing, or, you wanted to speak directly with someone, just raise the hand. I would be able to, unmute you and you can ask the question directly. So that also works for us. Sir, we can just stop sharing the screen. It should be fine.
So everyone, I hope you would have up till now got a good introduction about DL Unify probably, and you would have looked into what various things could be done and how your life will be easy during this hackathon. So the basic purpose is that you are all focused around your problem solving, around how your application should look, around how your application should interact, and how it can benefit the actors in your application. So you will not be required to take care of any complexities around your network management, will not be required to tackle any complexities around your integration points. Whatever you are going to deploy will be exposed via API. You can always consume those APIs into various either data management platform or various UI UX. So you need to just focus around the business logic, what you are going to solve, how the business logic should look like, how various different actors are going to interact in the system, anything related to infrastructure around these blockchain network, or your chain code deployment, or in case of Ethereum, any infrastructure around Ethereum network will be taken care by the platform itself during the duration of this hackathon. And everything will be done, every management will be done from our side. So in case of any issue around, as Purushottam had already told you, right, there are various ways in which you can reach out to us for any inquiry or anything which is not happening. So one is the support panel within the portal, where you can raise a support request. Other thing is the forum part, where a lot of things are already present in forum, where you can go and search for certain already FAQs, certain things which already are answered. Similarly, on the DL Unify portal itself, there are a lot of tutorials. So in case you are stuck, you can always look at those tutorials. And the other thing is that we are already trying to bring you on a collaborative platform, on a communication channel, where you can interact and post your question live over a chat, where it can be replied. So you all will be getting those details and those onboarding details by midnight today. So in meantime, anybody has any questions on larger ecosystem or on larger what is expected out of this particular hackathon, or anybody has any questions around the judgment criteria, how the judgment is going to happen, and what type of application we are thinking about you can build, or what, if anybody has any question, we are open to tackle anything. I have called everybody in this particular panel who has given a presentation. So in case you have any prior question to any of the prior speaker, you can also go ahead and ask that. So on few more things, like if you talk about what can be built on this particular platform, so you can build anything where, so not on the platform or as such, I'm talking about blockchain in general. You can build anything where you want to remove the middleman, you want to remove the various third parties, or you want to deregulate the system in case where code becomes the rule of law, or all the business logics are integrated within your smart contract. You want to bring any kind of automation. You want to bring any kind of process streamlining. Those all are the interesting use case which can be built. If you are trying to build a system where you want to bring certain behavioral or societal changes by providing certain incentive mechanism, that is also can be one of the use case which you can actually build on this particular hackathon. Trying to build a new kind of insurance system, try to build a new kind of a credit rating system, which is more transparent, which is more robust in comparison to how current insurance system work or how current credit rating system work. A simple use case can be as simple as any e-commerce website review-based system, which is currently totally centralized, which is owned by the e-commerce system itself. And there is always a lot of talks around whether how much those reviews are authentic enough and how much those reviews are not manipulated by using money. Because the talks isn't about whether the e-commerce people are doing it or not. The talks is about the system is currently in such a fashion that it can be gamed. There is a possibility, there is a backdoor through which those things can happen. So that's what the interesting use case where you build a system which is so trustful, or I will say trustless in itself, that you do not require to rely on somebody for the trust. The system by default gives you the trust. So these are the very interesting use cases which we are looking forward for you all to build. As part of tomorrow's session, we have few sessions around how to build an actual app. So currently a look and feel of how the platform works. I have already sent out a link where you can register so that we can onboard you. It's an early access for all the people who are participating in the hackathon. We will be opening this particular portal to you all. And we will be also sending as part of a communication around a lot of documentation around how to get your first step onto the portal, how to get your first step or the first building block for building the applications. So anything other than this you want to add, Purushottam, Deepak, Saurabh?
No. So
I guess there are some questions around.
Yeah, Deepak, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was just saying there are some questions around it. I guess you can answer all those questions. What the problem statement?
Criteria of judgment. So the criteria of judgment, there are 3 criteria in which the judgment has been defined currently. There is 20% marks for ideation, there is 30% marks for conceptualization, and there is a 50% marks for the working solution. So ideation depends upon what kind of idea you have chosen. So I'm not talking about the idea in the sense how much innovative it is, or it's about how much clarity you have about your idea thought process. So as part of ideation, you will require to submit a few paragraphs around what your idea is, what the problem statement is, what you are trying to solve. We will judge whether you are reaching to the core of the problem for its solution, or it's just a superficial problem which you are trying to solve. So that is the ideation. Conceptualization is about where you are presenting us a document where you are listing out how you are trying to solve these problems, like what things you are including in your, whether let's say in case of the problem is around distributed data management or transparency. So conceptualization will be around how you are trying to conceptualize it, how you are trying to solve it. It may include a data flow diagram. It may include schema document from your side. It may include how you, by this particular application, how your problem statement will be solved, whether it is going to be a process control thing or whether it's going to be something which is inbuilt within the system or your coding structure that is going to solve the problem. So that is one thing. And the working solution itself is how you are presenting. So you will be required to present and record a demo video of your working solution, which should be of maximum 5 minutes, and submit it as finally. Also your working code base, there should be a GitHub link of your working code base, which should be submitted as part of a final working solution. And one note on how you have used DL Unify services to build this particular application. So that this particular thing will be 50% of the judgment criteria. Yeah, if anybody does not have any experience in blockchain, so we are going to have a series of talks around it, how to build an application on blockchain. Second, the whole thing, the complexity around blockchain is already abstracted and given to you in a very well-refined manner, because you will not require to go and learn all the nitty-gritties of the blockchain in order to come and start participating in the hackathon. So like you will not be required to manage the network, you will not be required to learn about integrities of managing the network or how the chain code deployment is going to work. Those are presented to you in via API endpoints, via portal, via extensions. So there are various integrations available. In case you are not able to deploy it via API, there is a portal available where you can come and deploy your chain code. What you may require is certain programming experience where you already work with certain programming languages. It can be Node.js, it can be, so Node.js is one of the very most effective programming language which is currently used in blockchain world around developing applications. Problem statement, you have to choose your problem statement. It is not, we are providing any problem statement. You are free to choose, you are independent to come up with your own problem, because ideation defines around how well you have chosen your problem statement, whether you have got into the root cause or not. So you are independent to choose your problem statement yourself. We can send out certain area and categories where those problem statement can be found. No, you do not require to be an expert in blockchain. A beginner can start. Second thing, never, so there is one thing, okay, there is a prize money associated and everybody wants to win. But one other aspect of this particular hackathon is to go on that particular learning journey, right? So learning is one of the very important factor. So it's very essential that you treat this opportunity as an opportunity to learn something, not only about winning or building an application which is very wow. Yeah, that is one of the things, but learning is also one of these 12-day journeys about more about learning and how you can gain more experience and probably help your enterprise start your own startup, probably by doing something on top of blockchain, by taking an idea, incubate it, build an MVP around it. And also it may help you in your career path and career journey. If any other questions or you think that anything which you have not understood needs to be answered again, do let us know.
In case if anyone wants to speak with the panelists directly, raise the hand, which is available as an option. I would be able to unmute you and you can speak with them directly. Deepak Suni raised the hand. Let me just unmute you. Hi, Deepak.
Hello, is it audible?
Yes, Deepak, you are audible.
So in this 12 days of journey, like we will be taught only about the interface of this this program, or anything else. Like today it was only about the interface, how we can use this software and this program. So like in all these 12 days, it will be the same, or how it will be?
No. So it is not only this. So next, like tomorrow's sessions is about building a blockchain application, right? So there you need to use interface for deployment, right? It is just giving you set of a network so that you can deploy. But tomorrow's session is also about how you will be building a blockchain application. And there are further sessions which are going to come, which will tell you about basics about writing a smart contract, writing your chain code, how you can build your smart contract, how you will build your chain code. And if we get a lot of requests around going into nitty-gritties of the network, how it works, we'll have certain sessions on that particular aspect also that can be taken part. Right. So probably Deepak, what we are going to do. So when that communication channel is up and running for you, right? You can put in your comments and we will see how many people are interested. Accordingly, we will have a lot of sessions around a lot of network fundamentals also, or blockchain fundamentals also.
Thank you. And
Deepak, do you have a team or you are participating alone?
I have a team, but all of us like don't have any idea since we are means a third year student, mechanical. So like we got to know about the hackathon. It was written for it is for beginner too. So like we participated.
Sure. We will have certain training sessions for sure. And also, right, so see, the category is also divided in certain way, right? There is an ideation, there is conceptualization, which contains 50% of the weightage. So, right, it's not about immediately jumping on and building on blockchain. Firstly, it's about identifying the problem, thinking about what problem should be, what idea you should take, correct? So those are the factors. And as we build, so you will get a timeline for each of these categories ended. And similarly, we'll have a lot of other sessions around which will enable you to build your platform or build your app actually.
So the problem statement will be given by you, and then we have to
That's what I told, right? You are free to choose your own problem statement. You are free to choose your own what do you think that, okay, this is the right problem to be solved on blockchain.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Great. Anyone else wish to ask any question to the panelists? I think pretty much that. But yeah, you have all of our, our communication email ID, so you can reach out to the communication email ID if you have any questions. We'd be sending you the form which you have to fill, Ajay was mentioning earlier, and we'll also send all the related documents which we said we will be sending through the email. Tomorrow's session will start at 12 p.m. We are keeping the sessions this way. Why? Because we have a mixed match of people coming up, not just from the colleges, but many of the people came from multiple enterprises and startups who wants to be part of this hackathon. So we ensure this session happens at a very right time for all of us. So great that great to see all of you today here. We will send all the details, and we'll also send the calendar network tomorrow 12 p.m. You can actually join the same Zoom link, and all the instructions would be sent to your email. And in case if you have any questions or need more information, we'll be happy to provide. And we'll also send this recording, not in one mail, probably, we'll send 1 or 2 emails so that you have all the time to digest the information you have in place. Ajay, in case if I missed anything.
No, Mac, I think you have summarized it well. So look forward for a communication from our side, and be diligent to the timelines which are there. And in case any of your friend who has not been able to join, let him know about it. We'll be also sharing the recording of this session as soon as it is available.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. All the best for this particular hackathon. We hope to have a great journey on next 12 days.
So tomorrow's session also you can join on the same link. However, we are sending the calendar invitation, but you can definitely join in the same link. But any changes, we would let you know in advance. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all.